We're going to go ahead and call the July 29th Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Is there any announcements, or I know we have a presentation at the end, but any other announcements before we get started?
Yes, so the presentation,
It will just be an update. Yeah, we just have a lot more iterations to work through, so I'll just give an update, and then we can settle the presentation.
Yeah, so it's an update. We're not making any decisions on that today. Just a presentation to keep the community informed of the steps we've been taking since the meeting that was a couple months ago. Is that?
Yeah, that is still, like, we're expanding on it. I'm just going to give an update of where we are. We can get it done all for today, so we'll.
Yep, perfect. Okay. Mayor's detained. He may arrive in midstream, but we're going to go ahead and get started out of respect for people's time. With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion for that to approve?
Motion.
I will second. Motion by Steve, second by Jeff. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, moving on to resolutions. First item, request to approve special purchase of streetlights for Commercial Drive. Tabitha. Any questions?
None from me.
None. All right, I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Steve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The next item, request to approve special purchase of Caterpillar wheel loader. Tabitha.
Miller with Fleet Management, requesting permission to purchase a used cat loader for the Department of Public Works. Once again, the reason for the special purchase is because it's used. She's saving approximately $70,000 over a new unit. We've done this in the past and it's worked out well for us.
No questions. Motion.
All right, motion. I'll second. Motion by Steve, second by Jeff. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Tabitha. Next item, request to approve CareSource provider agreement. Laura.
Good morning, Laura Grapp, Deputy Director of Finance and Operations for the Fishers Health Department. Before you is a provider agreement with CareSource. We're looking to get credentialed with them so that we can bill insurance. CareSource is one of the 4 Indiana Medicaid plans, so by doing this, we'll be credentialed with all 4 Indiana Medicaid plans.
Nice. Any questions? Motion. I will second. Motion by Steve, second by Jeff. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thanks, Laura. Next item up, request to approve amendment number 1 with Simply Indy LLC for a police station. Ross.
Good morning, Ross Hillary, Department of Community and Economic Development. Item D and E are the same project, but we do need to vote on them separately. As a refresher, in 2023, DPW and Planning and Zoning concluded a solar submarine at municipal-owned properties, in which case after that we applied for Department of Energy, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant money. We received that in April of 2024 to go ahead. We did an open bid process with Simply Indy LLC, and in 2024 November, this board here approved 2 contracts, Resolution R112624B and R112624A. After that and the federal election, we had a pause of the project, and since then we've been able to start that up again. Both these items do have a project increase of $1,595 to their overall cost. This is a reimbursement from the federal government and the Department of Energy. That increase based off of Simply Indy's information is based around tariff increases. So happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, Ross, forgive my ignorance. So where does the power go from the solar? Do we get it? Does someone else get it?
So we have a Open Duke Energy application, and so it goes back into the grid, and then we get reimbursed for excess funds. Gotcha. So it's around year 10 out of the 25 years where we reach our return on investment.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
This is item D, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion on item D. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Steve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I will also make a motion for item E. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Steve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thanks, Ross. Item F, request to approve 2 community service officers. Chief, not chief.
Surprise, that's me instead. Mike Taylor, Assistant Chief, Fishers PD, requesting the approval of resolution to add 2 community service officers to our force. This resolution would grant them special police powers to write city ordinance tickets to assist with vehicle parking laws and ordinances, both within the state. They also be a big part of helping take care of things on our parks, trails, Nickel Plate District, and the yard development. And I'd be happy to answer questions if you got them.
None?
Okay, so this is just deploys our officers to more valuable tasks, is that?
Yes, it'll help free up some of our sworn law enforcement or
Yeah.
handling calls for service throughout the city or what have you, and this kind of frees them up to do that.
Got it. All right, is there a motion?
Motion.
I will second. Motion by Steve, second by Jeff. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Next item, request to declare certain property as surplus. Chief.
Chief Ed Gebhardt, here to ask for surplus of a service weapon for one of our officers, 23 years of service to the community. This is something we do typically when an officer retires out in good standing with over 2 decades of service. It's a 6-hour, 329 millimeter, serial number 58J471620.
Motion.
I will second. Motion by Steve, second by Jeff. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Steve. Or Ed. Next item, request to approve sanitary service agreement for Autumn Stage Section 1. Jeremy?
Good morning, Jeremy Schmidt, Department of Engineering. So the first item we have is for Autumn State Section 1. This is a standard sanitary sewer service agreement which covers the sewer impact fees for, I believe that one is 49 residential lots. And then there's also and then this is the 3-year period where we, they maintain it and we take it over.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Correct. Okay. Any questions?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Jeff, second by Steve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Jeremy. And then we're on to item I, also Jeremy. Request to approve sanitary service agreement for Grantham Section 4.
Again, Jeremy Schmidt, Department of Engineering. This is essentially, it's the same item. This is Section 4 Grantham, which, for the record, Section 4 should be the last section of Grantham. This is out by Southeastern 113th Street, but it's the same idea. I think this one has 48 residential lots.
Any questions?
No questions, sir.
I'll also make a motion for this. Is there a
Second.
second? Motion by Jeff, second by Steve. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion
Aye.
carries. I'm going to jump down to K real quick in case Scott happens to come in on this. But so we're going to go to item K, which is request to approve signed easement agreement, and that's Jake. Jake, there you are. Can't. Didn't see you back there.
I'm back there.
Yeah.
Good morning, Jake Reardon McSoley, Director of Recreation and Wellness for the City of Fishers. This is a easement agreement between the City of Fishers and CRG Development. It's specifically for us to construct and maintain a monumental sign that is on the CRG property, but directs visitors into our Fishers White River Park property.
Okay. Questions?
None.
None. Is there a motion?
Motion.
I will second. Motion by Steve, second by Jeff. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Gary is texting me. Okay. All right. We're back to item J. Request to approve City of Fishers parking schedule 7, residential parking permit zones. Chief Gephardt.
Chief Ed Gebhardt, here to talk about the resolution for the permitted parking in and around 2 areas. One is the Alhuda, and the other is King Judd's Heritage Meadows. We have for some time been engaged in trying to correct the parking in both locations, probably near 2 years now, and not able to get it under control. Let's talk about Alhuda specifically. The hours would be Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. We get tons of visitors from not our community to make their services on Fridays, and it overwhelms both Sunblessed Farms, and it also overwhelms across the street there by other in and around that area. Do you have the maps of these areas with you there? Yeah. And And so the streets in particular that come under point are Sunblest Boulevard, Torberg Place, Turkle Drive, Turkle Place, Farley Drive, Farley Place, Turn Court, Traverse Place, Tanner Drive, Trumbull Court, Torrance Place, Trophy Drive, Turkle Court, Tynan Way, and Tito Court, and Trophy Drive. We feel like when we initially do this, we'd like to roll this out and set an effective date from 30 days from now. We would really like to message Alhuda. We'd like to message our community to make sure everybody's aware. And really what we're trying to get them is to choose to park somewhere that Alhuda has provided, which is the launch right back behind the building there. But we haven't been able to get them to do that, and the $25 current fee setting doesn't seem to make the message get clear. We put out officers, we've directed traffic, I've been out there myself to witness it, and we just cannot get them to park where they're supposed to park. So they've flooded both of those neighborhoods and all of those streets, which is across the street and back behind. The reason we went ahead and blanketed the neighborhood behind Alhuda is because we believe the traffic will move, because traffic moves like water in our community. And so we can always come back in a month, reevaluate and take streets off if they're unaffected. That's why I think the Board of Works is the appropriate place for this, because I think this is going to be living and breathing, and we're going to learn as we go. So in particular, Friday 1 to 4 p.m., and then I wanted to note Ramadan, which you have to announce too, in 2026 is going to be 2/17 to 3/19, and that'll be 8 p.m. to 2 a.m., that those neighborhoods get completely overwhelmed from the month-long service of Ramadan. Any questions about Alhuda or in particular from you guys?
No.
Let's move to King Judge, also having issues for nearly 2 years that we've been engaged in, and the Heritage Meadows behind have endured quite a lot from the patrons that go to King Judge and enjoy that establishment. And King Judge is also, just like Alhuda, worked with us and provided parking and shuttles and really tried to curve what's going on there. But we're getting a lot of intoxicated individuals challenging our residents. We're getting front yards used as bathrooms. We're getting trash. We're getting challenges to those neighbors who have endured this for a long time, and we just haven't found a solid solution other than with this permitting process. Each time that gets violated, they get a $150 fine that is payable through the courts and the municipal courts here in Fishers. We think that that fine setting is substantial enough to send a message that we're not fooling around. It gives my officers teeth to actually do something about both locations, and I think it'll draw it to a conclusion in both locations as well. And I think they'll start to use the lots that both these establishments have set forth for their patrons to use. Any questions?
All right. Close to King Judd, didn't we add parking about that trailhead as well, which also
We have done added parking. It just, it overwhelms it. It floods out of there and all the way into that neighborhood. We've heard from several of them. I've seen videos from several of them. And I think that this is a step in the right direction. I failed to mention hours. I want to start with Thursday to Monday from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. to bring some peace over the weekend, and I think probably we'll have to come back again in a couple of weeks or 30 days and reevaluate our effectiveness there to make sure the neighbors are seeing some peace in the neighborhood.
Okay. Any questions?
We were told to some, I don't understand the process of things, but I think people are here. I think there's supposed to be some, I don't know if anybody's here, an open hearing on this, Lindsay, am I?
Yeah, it's to allow a public comment.
Okay. So we're not adopting it today, or we are just opening for public comment and still making? Okay, all right. So we'll let you step down for a second.
Yep.
We will open the Board of Public Hearing meeting on July 29th to public comment. Is there someone who would like to come forward? Thanks. And so if you could state your name and address for the record, that would be great. And if there's a particular property out of the two that Ed Chief has talked about, if you could.
Yes. Yeah, my name is Michael Cole. Last name is spelled K-O-L-E. I live at 7916 Turkle Drive, which is affected by the Alhuda parking consideration. I recently retired in February, so I'm home now, and I can see these things. The Alhuda traffic issue has been with us for at least 15 years. I've lived where I live for 21 years now. So it's not new. I simply avoid that intersection on Friday. That's just what we do. But where I live is towards the cul-de-sac on Turkle. And recently, it appears that there was direction to the worshipers at Alhuda to park at Launch Fishers. When that happened, the parking on Turkle disappeared. In the last 6, 8 weeks, I haven't seen any. And where I live, far enough down, there really hasn't ever been any parking there from Alhuda. So I don't really care for the process of having to get a license or a permit to park in front of your own property. So I just thought I'd rise to speak in opposition of that plan.
Okay.
That's my comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Good morning. My name is Tom Kostakis. I live at 8712 Morgan Drive. I'm less than 200 yards from King Jug, and really my question goes to, when I first became aware of this, I got a letter, I think it was June 16th, and there was a map attached to it. And Morgan Drive was included in the proposed roads to be subject to the permitting. And when I see the proposed ordinance, Morgan Drive's not in there. And so my request is that Morgan Drive be included. I'm going to take the chief at his word that otherwise traffic is going to move to, it's going to move like water. And so from the streets I saw in the proposed ordinance, I'm less than 200 yards away. Some of the streets that are included in Heritage Meadows are 3/4 of a mile away. I mean, I'm old enough to remember how we used a compass, not a compass for north, south, east, west, but a compass to draw a circle. It seems to me that you should put a compass point down, decide what the radius should be, 3/4 of a mile, whatever, and draw a circle in any residential. And I realize Morgan Drive is a little bit different than maybe Heritage Meadows. We've got parking spots in front of our homes, but it's different in a couple of respects. So Twigs and Tea is probably 30 yards away from us. Every single day, the Twigs people are parking in front of our house. Nobody's urinated in our yard.
Probably different
Nobody's
clientele.
put trash down.
Yeah.
They're gone by 5. I think the latest they've ever been there, my wife and I had a baby shower there on a Sunday, and they were there until like 6, our guests. When there's school events, a lot of parents park in front of us, no issues. In fact, we have a lot of parents, not a lot, we have several parents that park in front of our house and walk their kids to the school. So my point is that, and let's not forget, that was a ghost kitchen originally. It wasn't, they didn't serve alcohol. So there are certain public parking, there's 2 financial planners right there on Lantern. Ho-hum, you know? There's a lawyer, there's a chiropractor, there's somebody that cuts hair. We don't have issues with them, but they're not going to be parking there in the evenings. And then the other thing to keep in mind, when you get into Heritage Meadows, you know, it's a traditional neighborhood with big front yards. We have a 4-foot setback from our sidewalk. And so our living room and our master bedroom is 4 feet from the sidewalk. You know, I don't mind those people park. I literally threw my back out last year shoveling not just my sidewalk, but where the city plowed the snow and ice up against the curb. These 70-year-old women trying to get down to Twigs couldn't get to the sidewalk. So I'm all for public parking in front of our house with customers of businesses that are conducive to neighborhoods. And so that's my comment. Is I think it's a great idea, but please include Morgan Drive.
Okay, thank you. Chief, do you want to, did we look at Morgan Drive? Do you want to?
Yeah.
So we'll address both of these here. I'm going to start with.
Morgan Drive is on the map, it's highlighted, it wasn't listed to the side, but we want Morgan Drive in there, so I apologize for that, sir. And then also make sure Fishers Point Drive is handled as well, as I'm looking at the map, and that's not. Fishers Point Drive has cars on both sides, which, and they don't allow emergency traffic to get through. And then when they were up here, it just reminded me that I didn't really go through how this process is going to happen, but Morgan Drive is highlighted on the map, and that will be included.
Okay.
The permitting process will go as easy as we can make it for the residents. They just have to call in, let us know, or come in and let us know who they are and show their ID, their residence, and they'll get 10 tags identified to them, so they're not distributed out by other community members or fellow neighbors, so people can't just park there or be used. So we can address that if a violation of the actual permitting process happens. I think this will help. Also, too, I heard your comments. I'm glad that Turkle is seeing that. I'm getting my information for as late as Friday, but the service is as fluid as it can be. So if we don't see traffic dissipates or we don't see it in a couple of weeks, then, you know, or maybe 30 days, we come back and take the street off. We don't want to inconvenience our residents, but we want to help.
Sure. So I'm wondering if, because we're going to reevaluate this as this goes on, so 30 days. And in the short term, if you don't get and bear with me here, so if you don't do the permit, if you just park in your driveway for the next 30 days, which it shouldn't be a requirement, but if that were to happen and you didn't get a ticket, and then we evaluate in 30 days and realize that you're not, that the change that we made didn't all of a sudden flow that water, if you will, to your neighborhood, and we take it off, does that address your concern or somewhat, potentially?
I mean, I have 4 people in my home and 4 vehicles.
Yep.
We always have 2 in the street.
Okay. So where does that land us if we have, if they were to do that, they get a ticket?
Well,
and then they prove that they're a resident, which, okay, now that's a burden. I'm not, you see where I'm heading with this?
yeah, you could come find one of us and we can talk to them about the issue, and I'll obviously try to have understanding of we're trying to be partners here. We're
Yes.
not really trying to cause you issue, but I do believe that the traffic will move. I think you'll see a problem initially when this goes up. I think it would be good to include Turkle, but that's really your guys' decision. If you've heard the resident and you feel like that street shouldn't be added, then we understand that too. And then we come back in 30 days and add it if we need to add it.
Yeah.
I think that this is a project of community spirit and community partnership, and we're just trying to do the right thing by them, but we're certainly not trying to run over our community. We're trying to work with them, and we've had multiple meetings, the mayor and myself, with both in and around Alhuda community and in and around Heritage Meadows. And we find the opposition to be low in this because I think a lot of people are disturbed by both those entities and the issues that they bring from parking out in front of their house. And I've tried everything in both locations other than this. So I think in good spirit, if you don't feel like Turkle Place by what you've heard today, then we can take it off.
Have we heard from anyone else from Turkle besides the gentleman that remonstrated?
No, sir. Okay. It'd be hard for me to remember all of them. We had one person against it that went to council. I met with him for some time, offered and told him he can come here and speak his to you guys, and he did not show up here today. There was only one other in that subdivision in and near Turkle, but I can't remember the exact street that man lives on, though. Forgive me for that.
Thanks. Yeah, look, we're definitely trying to find common ground. I think it's a challenge of a growing community where we have very positive things happening that are creating unexpected challenges that we're trying to reasonably address so that everyone has peace of life and that you guys can do your job effectively and you're not affected, as well, particularly by outside residents. My thought is that we leave it on for the time being, see what the impact is, and I firmly believe that we're going to continue to evaluate this because I believe we are going to see a change. And if it's not affecting you, then I think we come back and take Turnbull off and we move on and then it's not affected. And I realize there's a short-term burden there, but I think it's the best solution because if we don't put it on there and then it's a problem, it doesn't allow them to then ticket, and then that's not also serving the purpose of what we're trying to do here.
Well, in particular, the two CSOs that were approved are a large part of what we're trying to do here through compliance of them. They're going to help with this. So the times and the dates and locations that I got are from traffic officers and patrolling. So if for some reason Turkle needs to come off, I'll be more than happy, and I'm sure the CSOs will report it to me prior to that meeting for sure.
Okay. Well, we'll let the mayor weigh in here. I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of where we are. So we're on item J, which is the parking schedule. Chief presented the streets that I'm sure you're aware of, but 2 gentlemen here affected each location. We're kind of looking at them as a whole, but each location, in particular, the King Judd, we've kind of addressed because I think there was a omission on the streets listed, so that's gonna be addresses one concern.
So an omission in terms of we want to add that street to?
It's,
We wanted it anyway, and he wants it on there,
Okay.
Yeah.
is what I heard. The other is Turkle Place Mayor, where we have one citizen here that doesn't want his street added. He has not seen a traffic problem on his street. I got these times and dates, and I set the times for, in particular, Friday 1 to 4, and then Ramadan only for that particular area. And so my
So it remains
information
for
comes
the
from
rest
traffic,
of the time, that street would not be permit only parking, you could park there anytime, it's
just the times.
just those times.
Friday's 1 to 4, and then Ramadan is a month long, and that is going to be 2:17 to 3:19 from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. And that, I'm not sure if you felt the presence during Ramadan on Turkle Place or not.
I don't remember particularly that specific period of time.
Thank you.
so essentially, he hasn't faced the problem, but the concern that she presented is as we implement this, that it's gonna flow like water and push it, so.
Yeah. Well, and I think Chief and I talked about too, this is gonna be an iterative process where at some point, it will be far enough away where it's easier for the people coming to the mosque to park in the designated parking spots at Launch Fishers. Like, the point here is to disincentivize someone who's just, hey, it's a 5-minute walk, I'll park here, walk over. It's really to create this, hey, it's a 15-minute walk, or I go park where I'm supposed to go park.
Yep.
And really, the intent here is that they just don't come to the neighborhood at all. And like it's all about the system, and everybody to go to Fisher's Launch, which Al Huda has signs on the roads to the launch. They've checked it in Google Maps, and all the resources are there for the people that are attending their prayer to go there. I think this will get them there, or it'll move them further out, but it won't be that neighborhood.
All right. Any other questions or considerations, Jeff or Steve?
So, no, I was, right when you walked in, I was just suggesting that I believe, my suggestion is we leave it on for the time being. We know we're gonna reevaluate it, see how it flows, and then we can, if it's not a problem, we come back and take it off. That's mine.
Yep. So that would mean, your recommendation would be to approve.
I would make a motion to approve, with the addition of the Morgan Drive.
Yeah, if you want to do a motion to
To add
amend
Morgan?
to include
Okay.
Morgan Drive.
So we have
and/or
we have a proposed
remove
amendment to
Turkle.
add Morgan Drive to the schedule. Is there a second? Second by Steve. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Now we'll consider the full, resolution, including that amendment. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Got a motion. Is there a second? Second by Steve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Then we need to end the public comment.
Oh, and we'll close the public comment. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks. Then we're just on to the spyglass.
We tabled that one, I believe, do we not?
Well, I think Becky said he was gonna make a short update, just to.
Oh, short update, okay. Uh, For the record, Hatem Mekki, City of Fishers Engineering Department. I do apologize that the presentation is not ready as of today. We've worked with our consultant for the past couple of weeks to nail down the study. There has been some variables that we found out in the last week and as late as last night that we needed to do some updates. So unfortunately, when we do iterations in the program, it takes hours, if not days, to update those numbers. But just a quick update, we did all the counts on all the intersections from Cumberland all the way to Hoosier. We did the counts on Spyglass Falls entrance at Futz Farm, Sand Creek, Spyglass Bridge, Legends, all the way up to Hoosier. We did a couple of signals in each location, and then the numbers that came up as far as queues and the numbers of cars did not add up to what we wanted to see. So we wanted to go back and take our time and rerun a lot of these iterations with the variables constant and not necessarily changing for each location. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can update the whole report and have it available for everyone, and then I'll have the presentation with the recommendation from the engineering department. So I know we had committed to the neighborhood that we'd have a report out in July. Right. So would it be our anticipation that by the next Board of Works meeting, we'd have the report available? We could have the report available for the next board meeting. The presentation would probably be in the following one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we can coordinate with Ashley's team to whether we want to share a link to the report
Right.
prior to, and then we can do the rest. Okay. Any changes to the agenda, Lindsay? Seeing none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
A motion by Jeff. Is there a second? Second by Steve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.